Sometimes life throws us into a moment so jarring, so unexpected, that it shakes us awake in ways we never imagined. For me, that moment came through bad news, a kind of news that doesn't just stop you in your tracks, but forces you to reevaluate everything you thought you understood about life, people, and priorities. We often live on autopilot. Days blend into weeks, weeks blur into months, and before we know it, years have passed. We scroll through our phones, chase routines, and drown ourselves in responsibilities. Yet all it takes is one piece of news, a diagnosis, a betrayal, a loss, or even a shocking headline, to shatter that rhythm. That's exactly what happened to me. The news didn't just hurt, it pierced. It didn't politely knock on the door of my comfort zone. It barged in, uninvited, and demanded my attention. And though I never asked for it, I realized it was the very thing I needed. Bad news has a strange way of becoming a teacher. It can strip away illusions and point us toward truths we were too busy, or too afraid, to confront. Think about it. How often do we wait until tragedy strikes to appreciate life? How often do we only value someone once they're gone, or only start taking our health seriously after a diagnosis? We brush aside warning signs, silence inner alarms, and convince ourselves that there's always tomorrow. But sometimes, tomorrow doesn't come the way we expect. That morning, when I was woken up by news I never wanted to hear, I had two choices. I could collapse under the weight of it, or I could allow it to open my eyes. And in that moment, I realized something. Bad news doesn't just deliver pain, it delivers perspective. It forces us to ask tough questions. What am I doing with my time? Who am I surrounding myself with? Am I living for purpose, or just existing in distraction? It was almost as if life itself was shaking me by the shoulders and whispering, "Wake up before it's too late." And here's what you should know: bad news may be inevitable, but wasted lessons are optional. You can't always control what hits you, but you can control how you respond, and more importantly, what you learn. This isn't about pretending that heartbreak, betrayal, or tragedy is good. No, bad news is bad. But within that darkness lies a hidden light, and if you look carefully, you'll find it guiding you toward a stronger, wiser, and more awakened version of yourself. That was the beginning of my journey. A rude awakening, yes, but also an invitation to live differently. And as I share what came next, I want you to think about your own life. Is there something you've been ignoring? A truth you've been running from? Maybe, just maybe, this message is your wake-up call too. After the initial shock, I began to see what the bad news had uncovered. Pain has layers, and within those layers, there are lessons, if you're willing to face them. We say it all the time, but we don't live like it's true. We act like the people we love will always be there, like opportunities will wait for us, and like we'll have endless time to get serious later. But life doesn't come with guarantees. The news reminded me that every conversation could be the last, every moment an unrepeatable gift. When bad news hit, I saw clearly who was truly there for me and who wasn't. Some people disappeared, too uncomfortable to stand beside me in the storm. Others showed up in ways I never expected. It was eye-opening. The bad news didn't just teach me about life, it revealed people's true character. I realized how easy it is to get stuck in routines that don't serve you. We cling to jobs, habits, or relationships out of fear, convenience, or laziness. But when something shatters that bubble, you're forced to confront reality. Bad news became the push I didn't know I needed to step out of stagnation and into growth. In the middle of the chaos, I started noticing the small things I had taken for granted before. A kind word, a warm meal, a sunrise. Gratitude didn't erase the pain, but it gave me strength to carry it. It reminded me that even in darkness, light still exists. We often underestimate ourselves until life tests us. The moment I thought I couldn't handle another blow, I discovered resilience I didn't know I had. Bad news broke me, but it also built me. It didn't erase my weakness, but it revealed my hidden strength. And here's the truth: no one is immune. At some point, all of us will receive news that shakes us, whether it's about health, family, finances, or dreams. But when it comes, you don't have to let it define you. You can let it refine you. I learned to stop asking, "Why me?" and started asking, "What now?" That shift changed everything. The bad news stopped being just an enemy and started becoming a guide. It whispered, "Don't waste this pain. Use it." I know many of you watching this have your own version of bad news. Maybe you're in the middle of it right now. Maybe you just got out of it. Or maybe it's still coming. Either way, the lessons are waiting for you too. Pain is not meant to paralyze you, it's meant to prepare you. After the dust settled, I had a choice: return to old habits or move forward with new vision. I chose the second path, and it changed everything. The bad news had woken me up, but staying awake required action. Here's what I discovered about moving forward. The little arguments, the endless scrolling, the meaningless distractions, they lose their grip once you realize how fragile life really is. I started investing more in people I love, in my health, and in my purpose. Time became sacred, not something to waste. We often say, "One day I'll travel, one day I'll write the book, one day I'll start that business." But one day isn't guaranteed. If it matters to you, start now, even if it's small steps. Bad news reminded me that dreams die not just from failure, but from waiting too long. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. The news forced me to reevaluate my circle. Some people bring healing, others bring chaos. And I learned the hard truth: it's okay to walk away from what drains you. Peace is priceless. For me, leaning into faith was essential. When the world felt uncertain, faith anchored me. It reminded me that pain doesn't have the final word, and that hope is stronger than despair. Even when circumstances didn't change, my perspective did, and that gave me courage to keep going. One of the most powerful things I realized was this: pain loses power when you use it to help others. By opening up about what I went through, I found connection, healing, and purpose. Someone out there needs to hear that they are not alone, and maybe that someone is listening to this right now. And so, here's what you should know: bad news is not the end of your story. It may feel like a full stop, but it's really a comma. Life doesn't stop with the pain. It continues, and how you continue is what defines you. If you're going through your own storm right now, hear me clearly: this is not the end. You are stronger than the news you received, braver than the fear that grips you, and more capable than you imagine. Let this be your wake-up call. Don't go back to sleep. Don't waste the lesson. Don't lose hope. Because sometimes, the worst news can lead to the best transformations. Sometimes, being shaken awake is the very thing that saves us from sleepwalking through life. And maybe, just maybe, the bad news that woke me up will be the message that wakes you up too.